Welcome, everyone. Let's make sure it's going live in the right ways. There we go. Just got the notification. People should be jumping in here now. Okay. Very nice. Well, welcome, everybody. Glad to have y'all. We got some selling strategies, some selling secrets from Adam Flores today. We'll give everybody just a minute to filter in here, but then we will just get to it. Would love to know where y'all are calling in from or jumping in from. That's part of the fun of virtual events, virtual webinars. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. Adam is in the OC. Beautiful over there, I'm sure.
Yes, beautiful views for sure.
Good weather too. All
Weather.
beautiful. Yeah.
I'm a golfer, so golfing year round, it's great.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. My dad's a big golfer, and I know he's in Texas, and it's about to get where, you make that call some Saturday mornings.
For sure.
So, oh, cool. We got all over now. We got South Africa. We got North Myrtle Beach. We got Philly. So we got a little bit of everything. Toronto. Let's see. That's our third country so far. Got Denver, Ohio. I love this. We're getting people from all over. Well, as people continue to filter in, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce our speaker today, then I'm going to get off the screen so y'all can just focus on him and what he has to teach you. Super excited to have Adam Flores joining us today. He is the founder of Smart Business Mastermind. He has 10 years of experience in digital marketing. He's a best-selling author of the book, The Art of Social Influence. He's a founder of a marketing agency called Dream Factory for coaches and consultants. He's also the creator and founder of Smart Business Mastermind, helping coaches and consultants grow and scale. He's done a lot. He has a lot to offer us. So I will go ahead and throw it over to you, Adam.
Yeah, thank you so much, Molly. And
Of course.
we wanted to come up with a fun training for you guys who are on sell to sign and be able to take you through that entire process. And my goal for you really today is three main things. I want to be able to help you boost your sales. I want to be able to help you go over the sales psychology, on how we've been able to help our clients successfully sell, and also be able to give you a couple of cool marketing tips as well as we go through this process. And so wherever you are, you might be on your lunch break, you might be in the car driving, you might be in your office. I just want to encourage you to press in and be able to get some ideas, because some things are taught and other things are caught, and so I want to be able to share some principles with you that you can carry across, your promotions and sales as we go into the holidays. So a little bit of background just for 2 minutes. I've been in this digital marketing space now for, I want to say, about 10 years, almost a decade. And I'm going to be teaching from that lens of a consultant as a coach. Some of you on here may sell financial services. Other you guys might be selling other types of services. But I'm going to teach today from the lens of a consultant. And we're going to be doing a role play together on how to be able to boost more sales. And so I'm going to be walking you through that as well. So whatever niche you're in, you're just going to want to carry those principles across and adapt it to make it relevant to you. And so we're going to have some fun as we go through this today. So I first want to be able to give us some context here. There's a cool marketing strategy that you can implement to be able to generate some leads so that you can have these sales conversations, especially in the holidays. People are bombarded with so many different advertisements, emails, social media campaigns. And so one of the simple ways that you could start to just generate some leads is what we call the 5-1-30, the 5-1-30 method. So let's say in context, like we're selling marketing services or social media services. As you guys know, it's one of the hottest trends. And so for that reason, I'm going to pick that. What the 5-1-30 is, you're looking for 5 clients, and then you pick one result who want to master a way to be able to generate 10,000 new followers this next year in 2024. And you want to be able to help them get started in the next 30 days. And so with that, let's say you were to send out an email with that short copy text. We call them a hand-raising email. You're just getting your audience to raise your hand saying, I'm interested. Or let's say you did a swipe up stories on Instagram or a post on LinkedIn to be able to just generate some interest, right? Now you get onto this call. How do we actually take this from an interested person who has no idea who you are? They have no idea what it is you have to sell. And how do we get them to be able to enroll within 30 minutes of a conversation and be able to get them to get started signing that bottom line? Now, some sales cycles are 2 to 3 sales cycles, just because if you're selling B2C, it's a little bit faster than if you're B2B. But the idea is to be able to have an agreement within a 30-minute time period. So what I want to do is I want to share with you our exact sales process. I'm going to go through a 7-step sales framework that you could be able to implement, because here's what I believe. I believe that if you can have more confidence, then you'll be able to have more encouragement to be able to get more leads, because you know you can enroll more. And so I want to be able to boost your confidence in sales this morning. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go through it. And I'm actually going to, let me see here if I can pull this up. Give me just a second. There we go. All right, cool. So there we are. So I'm going to walk through this 7-step sales process. And in the rapport phase, before we begin, I want to go over some kind of ground rules to lay the psychology for this. So before you ever get on a call, it's important to understand that you always want to be one pace faster than that of your prospect, meaning your tone and your speed of communication. The reason why, if you ever talk to somebody who speaks too slow, like, hey, how are you doing? And they're trying to sell you, and you're a fast-paced mover, a lot of times you'll interrupt them. And if you're on the other end where you're slow and they're fast, they'll interrupt you. And it's hard to be able to make the sale when you're talking too slow for somebody. The opposite effect is when you're talking too fast for somebody who's too slow, you can overwhelm them with information. So it's important to always be at one pace faster than the client with your tone and speed. Now, as far as the foundation of a call, there's the assessor and the assessee. And the assessor is the one that's asking the questions, and the assessee is the one that is answering the questions. You always want to be the assessor, the one that is asking the questions. The reason why is because we want to be able to get as much data as we can on the client, so that when we offer, it fits them like a glove, and they feel like it's literally built exactly for them. And so in order to do that, you've got to be able to gather a lot of information from the client in a very fast amount of time. And so we want to be effective in asking questions. And if they're asking us questions, then we're getting off track. And so I like to be able to think about the enrollment conversation as a straight line, right? We're asking questions that are leading to a specific result. And sometimes you get into people who are long-winded talkers. How many of you guys have talked to somebody where they're going off on side tangents, right? So one of the important skill sets you need that I think is important to be able to implement is the ability to say, hey, I'm going to jump in real quick. Hey, let's bring this back in. Let's reel this conversation in so we can stay on track. So those are a couple of just kind of foundational things that, I want to be able to lay before we get into these 7 steps, because you've got to be able to lead the conversation. You've got to be able to jump in and bring it back on track so that you could keep the conversation focused. And you've got to be able to have good energy and good tone and pacing so that you could be able to lead well and make sure that you're engaged the entire time. Okay, so let's dive in. So in step 1 is the rapport phase. Okay, and I'll actually, I'm going to call up Molly here in just a second to do some role play so you guys can see it in action. But the first phase is the rapport phase. In the rapport phase, I don't want to spend too much time there. It's just a few minutes. Hey, how are you doing? Where are you from? There's 2 types of energy. You have there you are energy and here I am energy. You want to be able to come into the call with there you are energy. Hey, there you are, right? There's 2 types of people that come in the room. There you are, here I am. So you want to have there you are energy. It's this, just instant connection. Hey, how are you? Great. Where are you from? How are you doing? Great. Awesome. Hey, so great to be on. Tell me about yourself. So that goes on for about 1 to 2 minutes. Then we want to be able to change the chapter and be able to go straight into establishing authority. This is where you establish this advisor-client relationship. And so you want to just be able to switch gears and go, well, hey, I just want to be able to just take a second here and just share a little bit about my background. You might not know anything about me, so I just want to bring you up to speed. I've been in this space for X amount of years. I've been, helping clients with their marketing for, 5 years now, 10 years now. And, I really specialize in helping people grow their audiences and grow their following and get more clients. And so, so the purpose of our call today is really just to be able to, see, I want to learn a little bit more about you. And if I can help you, great. And if I can't, that's okay too. right? If I can't, that's okay too. Why do we do that? Is because we always want to be able to give people permission to not have to buy if they don't want to, right? It brings down the walls. One of the reasons that I got into this space is, of teaching sales as well and marketing is because I hated getting duped into selling. You ever get that icky feeling where you're like duped? You guys can type in the chat if you've ever been duped before into buying anything. It's never a fun feeling, right? So we want to always create a safe environment and give people a way out, and that will help establish the trust early on. Okay. So Molly, I'm going to call you up at this time, and we're going to do a little bit of role play together. So the context here is you responded to my 5130 marketing message. You have no idea though, even though you're interested in what I do or what we do as a company, you have no idea really who I am, what
Sure.
we offer. You're just kind of generally interested.
Okay.
So we just went through the rapport phase. I established the expectations for the call, and now I'm going to move on to step 2 with you. Okay.
Cool.
All right, great. And I'm going to be selling a marketing service just because it's a hot service right now that everyone's selling. So I'm going to sell that to you. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right, cool. So Molly, so tell me a little bit, what is your goal right now? Is it to be able to grow your audience? Is it to be able to get more clients and get more leads? What's your main goal at the moment?
Yeah, I'd say a little bit of all those. We want more people to have eyes on what we're doing over here. And hopefully, I've seen social media work for other people and I want to be able to do that for us and get more sales out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's great. And so if you notice what rookies do is they'll ask a goal generally. So what's your goal for 2024, right? And that goal, if it's outside of the context of how you can help them, you'll start chasing for ways to find the answer and how you can help them, right? So what we do is when we ask this question, we create the frame for them to answer the question. We create the sandbox to play in. So what I did is I asked Molly, I said, so what's your goal this year? Is it to grow your following? Is it to get more clients? Is it to be able to get more conversions? So what I'm doing is I'm giving her context on how to answer the question in a way in which I can help her. And what that does is it allows us to be able to, uh, when she tells us what she's looking for in context to how I can help her, then now she's telling me what she needs. And that's a phenomenon that needs to take place in the sales conversation is they need to admit to you where they want to go in context to how you can help them. Okay. So the next thing I want to understand is I want to understand, well, why is this goal important to you? So Molly, tell me a little bit about why is that a big deal for you guys right now?
Well, business has been good, but it's been pretty stagnant this year, I'd say. And so we're really looking to increase our sales for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally hear you. And so where are you guys at now, would you say? Like, what are things looking like right now? Are you feeling like your audience is staying kind of stagnant? Your leads are kind of staying the same?
Yeah, I'd say all those. Sales have been coming in at the same rate every month. Not seeing a lot of growth in, our audience and our followers and, just in increasing the size of our sales too month over month.
Yeah, absolutely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into what's been missing and I'm going to set the frame once again. So what do you feel has been missing? Do you feel like there's been a lack of like clarity on how to be able to grow your audience? Do you feel like you've been struggling with, being able to convert your existing following into clients? Do you feel like you just don't have the overall like strategy? You need more consulting and coaching around that. What do you feel has been missing?
I feel like a lot of our followers, a lot of the leads are kind of the same size. So we're really trying to find people that are, in a different market that need more. So maybe leads outside of our current population. So expanding beyond who's currently, our current customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Got it. That's great. I appreciate you sharing that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to repeat back exactly what I'm hearing in step 3.3. So what I'm hearing you say, Molly, is you want to be able to, grow more, get more leads. You want to be able to grow more audience. Currently, right now, things have been a little bit stagnant. You feel like you're kind of talking to a lot of the same people. You're not really seeing the growth that you'd like to see. And so moving into 2024, you want to more of a clear game plan to be able to get to the next level, get more clients. Is that what I'm hearing?
You got it.
All right, great. So what just happened right now? I want to take a pause there. What just happened is that Molly just told me what she wants, right? She told me where she's at and what has been missing and what's been stuck. Now, my question to you guys who are watching is, at any point, have I started selling her anything? No, right? Have I told her what she needs to do in order to be able to fix the problem she's having? No. Right now, I'm just creating the space for Molly to tell me where she's at, where where she wants to go, what's been missing, and I'm just repeating back to her so that she can be able to explain to me that there's a gap, right, between where she wants to go and where she is now. And the client needs to be able to have their own self-awareness of that gap, right? And it needs to be brought to the table, because what that does, to be able to be the advisor, there needs to be an acknowledgement that there is a problem for you to step in and solve, right? Now, here's what rookies will do. Rookies will take this information and they'll go right into prescribing right away. So a rookie would take what we just discussed with Molly and they'll start selling Molly. Well, Molly, here's what you need to do. In order to be able to grow your following, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Now, the reason why we don't do that to create a safe conversation in sales is because what you're doing is you're taking her vulnerability that she just had, right? It's vulnerable for an entrepreneur to share their weaknesses and where they're stuck. And you're using the vulnerability as a way to sell her. We don't do that, right? Because you're taking the leverage of the relationship and you're saying, here, now I want to sell to you because I know your pain, right? And especially with emotionally intelligent buyers in today's time, they'll pick up on that and they won't, it'll put walls up because they know that every time you ask a question, it's just more ammo for you to sell, right? So we want to be able to move into step 4, and we want to transition into compassion, right? Because she just got done expressing that she's going through a tough time, right? Whether it's for her company or whether it's for her personal business, right? It's a vulnerable time. So I'll say, hey, Molly, I totally hear you. You're not alone. And I'm going to bridge into a story that mirrors where she's at and how we've been able to find the answer. So I'm going to bridge and say, totally understand, you're not alone. In fact, many of our clients have been in the same exact situation where they wanted to be able to get more audience and get more conversions and have momentum. But the reality is sometimes with all the moving parts going on, it's easy to get stuck. It's easy to be in a stagnant place where you're just not seeing the momentum. And that is why when we work with our clients, we're really focused on helping develop a clear strategy and a game plan so that you could be able to make sure that the work you're doing is going to lead to hitting your KPIs and to help you get to your next quarter goals. And so, so would it be okay if I shared that with you, Molly?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. So what do you notice there in step 4? For those of you who are listening, what is key to understand in step 4 is that I'm just mirroring Molly's language. You notice I'm using the exact same language that she told me as I was role playing, right? So she told me that she was stuck. She told me that she was stagnant. So I don't want to use language that she's not using so that she can connect and feel a part of the story that I'm sharing in step 4. And this is what makes sales fun, is that you get to allow the story to do the heavy lifting for you. And so you don't have to be the one to try and convince and persuade. Let the story do the work. And your story should be able to reflect and mirror exactly what Molly shared in steps 2 and 3, right? So it's very rare. This is a very rare phenomenon that a client feels, oh my gosh, you know where I want to go. You know where I'm at, you know where I'm stuck, and you have a way out. When that phenomenon happens, it creates a connection like, man, I want to know what it is you have to offer. But rather than me assume, I always ask for permission. So if you guys caught that, I said, hey, I said, is it okay, Molly, if I share that with you? And she said, yes. And so now it's very inviting. The conversation is still safe. And am I selling to Molly yet? Is she feeling sold to? Is she feeling duped into buying anything? No, right? The conversation is safe. Okay. Welcome, Gianna. Glad to have you with us. Naples, Florida, represent. Let's go. All right, cool. So we're going to go on to step 5. So now what I want to do with, now that I have her permission, is when we describe the service, we want to be able to share model, tools, and support. That is something that is going to, that a lot of people overlook, and they go into the pricing or the features, right? And they'll go into the pricing after. We want to go into the model, tools, support. So what does that actually look like? Okay. So what the model is the model is your pillars and milestones that are going to actually help the client achieve their goals, because they need to know how you're going to get them there. Because in today's time, people don't just want the result, they want to be in alignment with your strategy and how you're actually going to help them get there, right? So we'll say, okay, great, Molly. Well, the way that we work is we focus on three main pillars that we focus on. One is we want to be able to grow your audience and get your audience growth strategy down. Two, we want to be able to help you master your engagement with that audience. And then three, we want to help you with conversion. And so in each of these pillars, we have milestones that we're going to be leading you through to help you achieve those. Then that's the model, right? It's the pathway, it's the runway, it's the way in order of success and how you're going to help them reach the greater goal. Then I'm going to ask Molly. So, Molly, is that clear on how we help you get to that goal?
Got it. Got all the three pillars.
Okay, great. And obviously, in a more extended conversation, I would go into more detail on what those pillars include. But the most important thing is that I'm asking Molly, is that clear on how we help you get to that goal? And if she says yes, that's a great sign. That means that she is in alignment or in agreement with how we get there. And it's clear in her mind. Because when the buyer's brain, the way it works is it's like open tabs. And the more open tabs that a client possibly has, the more confused they're going to be. So every time I cover something new, I always want to close the tab by saying, is that clear? Does that make sense? And when she said, yes, that makes sense. Great. We've closed that tab. And now we're ready to move on to the next thing. So great, Molly. Well, you're clear on our model. So here's how our tools and support work. Every week, we're going to get together and we're going to set objectives, and we're going to go over a strategy, and then we're going to give you the tools to implement that strategy. So it takes the thinking and heavy lifting out of it, so that you could be able to get to your, to be able to get to the goals with clarity and acceleration, and you'll be able to have access to our team the entire way through. Okay. So so is that clear on how we support you, Molly?
Yep.
Okay, great. Now, if she's unclear, this is the time for Molly to ask, so that we can close the tabs. So when we get to the price, there's no questions anymore about the service or how we're going to get there. We want to address all of that beforehand. And that's why we're always asking, is that clear? Okay. All right, terrific. So now that we've gone over the support, then we want to be able to go over the price. Okay. Now, when we're talking about price, one of the things that we look at is we always want to be able to share something to compare it to, because you always want to teach people how to buy from you. What does that mean? That means that they don't always know what it is, that they don't understand always where your pricing comes from, or what are you comparing it to? How are you coming up with the price that you're getting ready to charge, right? So what we got to do is we've got to be able to create context. So I always share context so that when I share the price, it's justified, right? So I say, well, great, Molly. Well, hey, part of the things that makes our team special is that, we have a full team around you. We have our audience growth specialist. We have our lead strategist. We have our, whatever the cool resources that go into that are, right? And so you're going to get the whole team for the price of one employee. For just $5K a month, you can have access to our team to help you reach your goal, right? So now when they hear the price, it's justified right away, and they're not having sticker shock if you're more on the expensive or premium side of things, because they're understanding why. Oh yeah, they got to pay for team, they got to pay for staff, they got to pay for the time. It's justified before you reveal the price. Okay. So from that point, you'll have mainly pricing objections, because we already know Molly would want to buy. She told me that she wants to grow her audience. She told me that she wants to, move into getting more conversions, hit her goals for the next quarter. So we're already in agreement. And I shared a story that revealed to her how I can help her get to that goal. And she's clear on our model, she's clear on our tools, and she's clear on our support. So really, it's going to be a matter of pricing, right? So moving into this last phase here, this is where we go into the enrollment and the close. Okay. So if you are dealing with B2C market and you're on here, business to consumer, you can actually, you're dealing with the decision maker, right? So you can actually go for the close right then and there. And so when we do the close, we just share the price and we ask the closing question. So is that something that you can do? And if so, when would be your timeline for us to be able to get started and moving forward in this, right? And at that point, the objections start to come. Now, maybe Molly can have me back in the future on how to do objections because there's a whole training in itself on the psychology of that. But the main principle here is that we want to be able to put on our thought leader hat and come up with ways and solutions that they can get started now. Now, if you're dealing with a consumer, I want to share a cool little tip here that will help you because what I found in selling consumer service to consumer versus business is that the consumer typically is willing to pay first before they fill out an agreement. And I want to talk about this is a sell to sign training. So I want to talk about the agreement part next because this is where a lot of times if you've ever sold to consumers, sometimes they can ghost you. Anyone on here deal with the ghost before where they go missing? They join the MIA program, right? You're like, what happened? We just made the sale. Where did things go wrong? You're having them pay. You're having to fill out the agreement. It's a little bit too much too fast. So typically what we can do is we can agree on a price, see if they can get started. If so, set the start date, collect card information so that we're ready to process, right? And now there just needs to be the agreement, but I don't have them fill out the agreement right then and there until we get the payment in when we're dealing with consumer. Okay. It's different with B2B, and I'll explain in a minute how we deal with businesses. So the reason why is because the agreement becomes an asset to the client once they've paid. Because now, instead of it being a liability in the client's eyes, we present it as an asset. How do we present it as an asset to the client? We say, look, to ensure that you get everything that you've paid for, we want to be able to get this filled out. So that way it ensures that we deliver everything we've promised to you on our end, right? So it makes the consumer feel at ease when they are getting the agreement filled out after they've made their deposit, okay? Now, for a business where the businesses, they typically need to go through maybe roundtable team decision makers to be able to make a move. And so we want to be able to go over the services first and then making sure the agreement aligns, agreement filled out, and then payment comes in. Okay. So I want to be able to share my agreement process with you because this has been a game changer. And that's actually why I love using Panda Docs here because they have been a huge asset for us as far as getting our agreements up and ready. Let me go and pull this up
Keep
here.
praise coming. We'll take
Yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely. Hey, you got to give credit to where it's due. Okay.
Thank you.
So this is a template here, and I have a gift for you guys in just a sec here. So let me go ahead and share this. So this is a template here of our mastermind agreement. So I can hide this sidebar. There we go. So, we always start out with our cover letter, of course. And what I love about the Panda Docs layout is it's so designer friendly. We want to make the agreements as least intimidating as possible, and really good design helps with that. And other agreement services I used, it's hard to design on them and it's wonky. And so what we do with our Panda Docs, which if you're not using Panda Docs, we totally recommend it because it allows us to be able to templatize our agreements. So what I'm doing is when I onboard with my mastermind clients, because I'm enrolling in groups, we do group onboarding. And in group onboarding, I'm actually going over all the different value that we're giving to them in our mastermind. And I'm walking through it step by step by step. And so it all, so that they can see that there's nothing intimidating about the agreement, right? That it's exactly as we deliver. We're in alignment with everything that we're discussing that was in our sales call. Okay, so we have our fees and payments, and then I'll go over the disclaimers with them and present them as just common sense things that we're going to need to be able to get through in order to get started. And then we'll have them fill it out electronically, which is nice because it's just done right then and there. So all of our agreements are actually done in onboarding, and we have never had one person say, "Oh, I'm not filling that out," in all the years we've been doing it. And that is because, when we're presenting it, we're able to handle any objections during that time when we're doing group onboardings, which has been so cool. So Panda Docs allows us to create the templates and the links and be able to give those. So if any of you guys are not using Panda Docs and you are looking for an agreement service, if you get Panda Docs trial, I'll go ahead and give you a copy of my agreements for you to drop into your Panda Docs account that are already designed, and you could be able to use them for future onboardings that are neatly designed and great for your clients. So that is so let's do a quick recap today on how we can boost some more holiday sales. We talked about the 5-1-30 rule, being able to say, "Hey, I'm looking for 5 clients who can get this one result within the next 30 days," right? So you generate some leads. We get on the call. We have a nice, smooth, seamless 7-step sales process done in 30 minutes. We help ease the client through the agreement process, so that way they're not intimidated by the agreement. And we want to be able to get a commitment within that 30 minutes, and maybe a follow-up call to collect payment or review agreement together. That way you can be able to move forward. And that's how simple sales can be. So you can literally send out an email today, get on a call tomorrow, and close some sales before the holidays to boost some cash flow. And you could be able to go from there. So Tam, yeah, absolutely. If you want the template, you can go ahead and get your Panda Docs link, and I'll go ahead and give you our template for that and drop it over to you. So awesome. And then we have another guest. We have a gift for you as well for everybody who's on. If there's a QR code here, and you'll see a free guest pass. So I'm running a training with some of my paying clients on how to launch 100K virtual events. So if you sell services where people need to be educated to buy, you can click that QR code or also the link in the chat. If you can drop that there. Yep. Angel just dropped it in the chat. And what that will do is it will give you a guest pass to sit in on this training, and you can't buy anything on this training. And I'm going to be teaching you how to launch 100K virtual events to be able to get more clients as a way to pair with this training, which I think you'll be really impressed by and blown away by. Now, in order to sit in our rooms, you do have to go through a quick interview process with our team, just 5-10 minutes. It's our way of keeping the room safe, making sure the content's relevant to you. But once you do, they'll go ahead and give you your link to sit in and join us. And I think you'll be really blown away by that experience. So, Molly, I want to thank you so much for bringing me on. And, I wanted to do this training just because I am such a big believer in Panda Docs. We use it for a lot of not only our agreements, we use it for our onboarding agreements with new, employees, new hires, new contractors. The templatization of it, the design, the layout, we're just such a big fan of.
Thank you.
And so it's an honor to be able to share and co-host a co-training with you. And like I said, to anybody who gets Panda Doc subscription, I'd be happy to give you our templates. And you guys are also welcome to sit in as a guest. If you're a guest of Molly's, you're a guest of mine, we'd be happy to host you in our training for our 100K virtual events workshop coming up. So
Thank you, Adam. And if people have questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat if there's anything you want to ask of Adam. We got a few minutes, but Adam, I just want to thank you in general. It's so cool to learn in general. I love learning. It's one of our Panda Doc pillars as well. And to be able to do that with one of our customers is so special. So thank you for raising your hand and being willing to hop on and be vulnerable and teach. So thank
yeah,
you.
absolutely. I mean, it's a testament. How cool is it, you guys? I mean, how many services or softwares do you guys use, but the software doesn't ever invite you to do a co-training together, right? So that's just a testament that you guys hear out your customers, you guys go above and beyond. And so it's been so fun being able to teach a gifting of mine, and that's helped a lot of our clients win. And now your clients and community can get some cool nuggets as well.
For
So
sure. I know you shared a lot of information that, if people take away even 1 or 2 tidbits, something that can help them learn and grow and stay successful through the end of the year and beyond.
yeah, absolutely. Got to boost those holiday sales. We got to
Yep.
be able to turn it on. And so right now is separation season, right? A lot of people right now are taking it easy because it's the holidays and they're getting ready to make plans for January. But right now is actually one of the best times to really make a move and make a decision. And if you're on here and you're just coasting, I recommend you to turn on the on switch, because we're still 3 weeks away from Christmas. A lot of growth can happen, a lot of decisions can be made. And this is a time where people are planning their new years and where they want to go next and what moves they want to make next. And so use the holidays as a reason why to get to work versus why to rest. Although if you want to spend time with your family and that's your thing, do your thing. I stay in alignment.
Mhm.
But if you're just using it as an excuse, you can actually turn on the jets right now in this season to be able to elevate to next level. So just want to encourage you guys there now is a great time to be able to grow.
I'll throw one question at you actually. So you talk about a lot of people, they rest right now and they're planning for 2024. So what do you say when people come to you, you're trying to sell something and people talk about that circling back, we're in that circle back season, we'll talk about it then. How do you get people away from circling back and try and get that win now versus later?
Absolutely. So one of the things is, and there's always wanting to delay, even if it's not the holidays. It's always like, can we get started next quarter, or can we get started then? Right? Everyone always wants to start in the future. I always agree first, right? Because we don't want that friction in the relationship. We want the trust to stay high. So I'll say, hey, I totally understand, totally support you. We can get started after the holidays. The only thing is that if we get started after the holidays, we probably wouldn't be able to start to see results till probably March, April. So my thought is this: if there was a way for us to just get something going right now, then we'd be able to probably start to see results by maybe January, February, right? And so by the time the new year comes around, we can already step into results versus just getting started. So I understand right now you have a lot of expenses going out. There's a lot of things that you guys are working on. So what I'm thinking is this: what if I were to be able to just give you guys a like honor some type of special for you guys right now, where I'll take X amount off, and all we could do is a deposit now just to get the ball rolling, and then we can start running in January when you have more free time on your plate. And so what I'll typically do is I'll offer a promo, right? And then I'll offer the ability to just secure it with a deposit, get some type of traction going,
Yeah.
right? And then we can go full force when their time comes up. So what that does is it creates a one-time offer that's good for the call. Two, it creates a urgency because they have to make a decision. Three, it provides the money problem. We're not asking for a lot of money. We're just asking for the deposit.
Yeah.
Or it allows them to accelerate their results sooner, right? Which is what they ultimately want. And five, it handles their time objection. They don't have time, but they will have time in the future. So I'm not asking for their time. I'm just asking to get the ball rolling, and then we can run when they're ready. So it handles all the dominoes. And so you just solve it so quickly. And
Yeah.
most people, they don't know how to do that. So what ends up happening is they hear that, oh yeah, let's get started after the holidays. And they're like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Let's do
They
that. Yeah.
want to get started. Yeah.
When are you thinking? Are you thinking February? Are you thinking March? And like, if I heard my enrollment team do that, I would literally pull the hair out of my head, because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, they're going to forget about you in February and March. They're going to have a whole new set of projects. And then when you follow up in February, March, they're going to push you to July and August,
Right.
right?
There's always a push.
There's always a push. So we got to be able to draw them in and bring them in closer to be able to get started sooner than later, because if not, they'll forget about you. And that's called the law of diminishing intent, right? It's that the further time goes on without people taking an action, the less likely they are to move forward with you.
Makes sense. And what I liked about that is you first led with, let's get results now. Let's see something. The longer you push it off, the longer it's going to take to see results. And I like that you led with that. And then there was, of course, there's a discount, there's some sort of deal, but a low buy-in to start now. But you want to see those results. So let's talk now. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And what we could do, Molly, in the future, maybe if we do another training together in the future, I could do a whole
Yeah.
training on objections if the audience would
Yeah.
like that. We can just like go through it and I'll handle all of the objections. Like, I need to talk to my partner. Can we get started a month from now? Can we, all the things we don't have, we have too much on our plate right now. We just invested in another program. All of those type of objections,
Yeah.
there's a way to answer them. And we've been able to just time test them. We know which ones are most effective. But we want to handle them in a way that makes the client feel safe, not pushed, right? But that
Yeah.
there's a solution that you could be able to lead them to help, a win-win situation,
Yeah.
get.
Sounds fun to me. I think we all have something to look forward to. And we'll get that training on the books too. Thank you, Adam. Again, thank you, thank you. It's so fun to have you here to teach, to educate our community, and hopefully get them a few tips and tricks as they're selling into December. If anybody has any questions for Adam, there's the QR code. Angel dropped some links in the chat there. And we just appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here today. And we'll see you on the next one.
All right. See you guys. Hope to see you on the inside.
Bye.